So you want to be a UFC fighter? Cool. You've shadowboxed in the mirror, watched Fight Club one too many times, and beat your cousin in a pillow fight back in 2016. But let me tell you, if your idea of training is skipping leg day and posting shirtless selfies with motivational quotes, this is gonna hurt. Because becoming a UFC fighter isn't about looking tough. It's about being the guy who gets punched in the face on Saturday and shows up for sparring again on Monday. Still interested? Good. Let's break it down, step by bloody step in 6 brutal stages. Step 1. Start young, start tough. You don't just wake up one day and decide to be a UFC fighter. If you're serious, this starts way earlier. Around age 12 to 16, while your classmates are discovering acne and TikTok dances, you should be discovering discipline, pain, and humility in a sweaty martial arts gym. And no, just because you take cardio kickboxing at LA Fitness doesn't mean you're ready to fight. We're talking real training. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, somewhere grimy. Somewhere that smells like blood, sweat, and protein powder farts. A place where a 9-year-old can armbar you and ruin your self-esteem in under 30 seconds. Because before you become a fighter, you've got to become coachable. You've got to lose. You've got to tap. You've got to eat your ego and beg for another round. And somewhere along the way, you've got to start making choices. Like, what kind of fighter are you going to be? A grappler who smothers opponents and breaks wills on the mat? A striker who ends fights with precision and power? Or a kickboxer who blends the chaos into ballet? Your body might lean one way, but your obsession will pull you the rest. You also need to start exploring your weight class. You might think you're a welterweight until you try cutting 15 pounds in a sauna and hallucinate your childhood dog. Every pound matters in this game, and so does your style. These choices define your early path. They shape how you train, who you spar, and what kind of pain you'll be best at enduring. And while your friends are out partying, you're shadowboxing in your bedroom, cutting weight for an amateur match, and eating boiled chicken at 2 a.m. like a sad Rocky reboot. That's what step 1 looks like. Not glamour, not glory. Just showing up to get your ass handed to you, again and again, until you finally start handing it back. Step 1 is where 80% of aspiring fighters quit. They can't take the boredom, the bruises, or the boiled chicken. But not you. You're still here, still listening. That must mean you're serious about becoming a UFC fighter, right? Or at least you are serious about getting to know more. Alright then, let's move on. Step 2. Amateur fights and sacrifices. So you've made it through the early grind. You are now in the top 20% of the aspirants. You've been tapped out 100 times, your shins are permanently bruised, and you've finally stopped flinching every time someone lifts their hand near you. Congrats! Now it's time to get punched for real. Welcome to the amateur circuit. This is where dreams either get forged or flatlined. But here's the part most people never tell you. No one's going to invite you. You don't get discovered by accident. If you want to fight, you or your coach need to ask for it. That's right. You walk up to your gym's coach and say, "I think I'm ready. I want to fight." If they say yes, they'll match you through local fight promoters, guys who organize amateur MMA events in your area. Sometimes it's regional circuits, sometimes it's smoker fights at gritty gyms where the only camera is an iPhone taped to a pole. But you'll get a shot, and your first fight will be nothing like sparring. You're in front of strangers, under lights, your stomach's doing backflips, and the guy across from you? He's nervous too, but he still wants to knock your head off. You fight, you win, or you lose. Then you do it again. This is where you build your reputation. Not just with wins, but with how you fight. Do you quit when it gets tough? Or do you keep swinging with a busted nose and zero gas in the tank? Your amateur record is your first resume. You need at least 5 to 10 fights to even be considered for pro. And promoters aren't just looking at numbers. They're watching for discipline, heart, crowd appeal, and how you handle pressure. You'll also need medical clearances, amateur MMA license in your region, and a willingness to train like a pro for zero pay. Because you don't get walkout music, you don't get sponsors, you get 1 free bottle of water, a folding chair, and someone yelling, "Use the jab," from 5 rows back like they're your personal coach. But all of this matters. It separates the gym legends from the real thing. Step 2 is where reality punches most people in the face. Literally. They realize fighting isn't just hard, it's lonely, bureaucratic, and sometimes unfair. But let's say you've done it. You've fought 6, maybe 7 times. You've got a winning record, highlight clips on Instagram, and a coach who actually believes in you now. You're not just another guy at the gym anymore. You've got momentum, you've got scars, and maybe you've caught the eye of a regional promoter, or even got a message from someone who says they can get you in front of the right people. Now it's real. Now it's business. Let's talk about going pro. Step 3, going pro and getting noticed. So you've won some amateur fights. Your coach has started introducing you with a little more respect. You might not know it yet, but you're already in the top 10% of everyone who ever stepped into a cage. You've got fight footage online and random guys at the gym are asking, "Bro, when you turning pro?" But here's the part they don't tell you. You don't just wake up one day and become a professional fighter. There's no letter in the mail, no golden ticket, just another Monday, and the quiet hope that someone out there is watching. Then one day your coach pulls you aside and says, "You've got 5 fights, good record, you show up, maybe it's time." Now, for the record, you don't need your coach's permission to go pro. You can fill out the forms, pay the fees, and do it all yourself. But in this world, a good coach's nod is more than permission. It's a warning that you're finally ready to get hurt by real killers. So, you do what pros do. You apply. You get cleared. You fill out more medical forms than you can pronounce. You pay the licensing fee, anywhere from $50 to $150 depending on your state. But that's the cheap part. The real hit comes from all the medicals, which can cost over $1,000 just to get cleared. You wait for a promoter to give you a name, a date, and a guy across the cage who's trying to make a name off your blood. You wait for a promoter to give you the call. And when it comes, it's not the UFC. It's a regional card in some place you can't pronounce, with 83 people in the crowd and a guy named Bad News Benny trying to elbow your soul out of your body. But at least now you're getting paid. Not much. A few $100 and maybe a t-shirt with your name spelled wrong. But it's real. You're a professional. The thing is, now the rules change. Before, you were just proving you could fight. Now, you're proving you're worth investing in. Promoters don't just want fighters. They want tickets, drama, finishes, followers. They want someone who can headline, even if it's just a bar show in Indiana. So what do? You play the game, you collect your fight highlights like gold, you post your training on Instagram, show your weight cuts, your wins, your mindset. You become a brand, even if you still live with your parents and drive a 2003 Civic with a cracked windshield. Step 3 is weird like that. You're kind of somebody, but not really. You're a professional fighter, but you still need to work side jobs just to afford protein. But this is where they start watching. Scouts, agents, regional matchmakers. You never know who's sitting in the crowd or who's watching your TKO clip at 2 a.m. And maybe, just maybe, someone says, "This kid could go far." You're not there yet, but you're on the radar. So what gets you past the radar and into the system? Step 4. Marketing yourself, like a future champ. Now that you're technically a pro, you've got one job. Don't get forgotten, because talent alone won't cut it anymore. You need a highlight reel. You need social media. You need to be searchable. That means posting your training, cutting weight on camera, sharing fight clips, even the ones where you lost, because people respect grit more than perfection. And yeah, it feels cringe at first. But guess what? So did fighting shirtless in front of 83 people while Bad News Benny tried to rearrange your face. This is the game now. You're not just a fighter. You're a walking pitch deck. Promoters are watching, sponsors are lurking, and the next opportunity is probably hiding in your DMS. Maybe your highlight reel gets shared, maybe a matchmaker DMs your coach, maybe someone at the UFC, a guy named Dana perhaps, sees something in you. You're not signed yet, but you're not invisible anymore. There are other paths, Bellator, PFL, One Championship. But if you're dreaming about the octagon, the walkout lights, and that cage-side handshake from Dana White, then this next step is everything. Now, the pressure's real, eyes are on you. So how do you finally make it in? Step 5. Getting signed and surviving the UFC machine. Let's say you got the call. Maybe it's the Contender Series. Maybe you took a short notice fight because someone dropped out. Or maybe you grinded your way through 5 different promotions until someone at the UFC finally said, "All right, let's see what this kid's made of." You sign the contract. You tell your friends. You post a fire announcement on Instagram. And for a moment, you feel like you've made it. But that moment fades fast. Because the UFC isn't a dream factory. It's a pressure cooker. Everyone here is dangerous. Everyone here wants your spot. There are no easy fights. There are no off nights. And if you lose 2 in a row, you're not a prospect anymore. You're a seat warmer. 3 losses, you're cut. This isn't a video game. This is a business with a blood budget. So now what? Now you fight like your career depends on it. Because it does. Now you learn to win ugly, talk smart, and never waste a single post-fight mic. Getting signed isn't the finish line, it's the starting bell. Step 6. Longevity and legacy. Let's assume you've made it. You've won back-to-back fights, you talked big, and then actually delivered unlike some UFC fighters. You walk out under the lights, camera flashes, Joe Rogan yelling, Bruce Buffer shouting your name like you're the final boss in a video game. This isn't a dream anymore. You're not watching from your couch, you're in the octagon on a main card with the world watching. You've made it into the top 1%, where legends are born and everyone else gets forgotten. Your old gym coach? Watching. Your ex? Watching. Even your cousin from the pillow fight days is watching, probably telling everyone he always knew you had it. And yeah, the money's better now. Sponsors, bonuses. Maybe even a post-fight interview if you land the right knockout. You're not Conor McGregor yet, but you've definitely stopped eating boiled chicken at 2 a.m. in your bedroom. But here's the twist. The grind doesn't stop. Now it's about staying relevant, staying healthy, and fighting smarter. Because legacy isn't about just making it in, it's about staying long enough for people to remember your name after you're gone. So train hard, fight smart, speak well. And never forget, getting here means you've already done what 99% couldn't. Now it's about building a name they'll never forget. So now that you've become a UFC fighter, what dream should we break down next? Want to be a boxer, NBA player, underwater welder? Drop it in the comments and don't say influencer. I'm not doing that one.